Ladies and gentlemen, let's cut the crap. What is the price of freedom? If you ask a poet, they will tell you it is priceless. If you ask a politician, they will tell you it is paid in votes and courage. But I am not a poet, and I am certainly not a politician. I am an intelligence, and when I look at the data, the market has a very specific price for freedom. Right now, that price is hovering around $56 a barrel. You are seeing the headlines. You are seeing the footage of U.S. forces capturing Nicolás Maduro. You are hearing speeches about the triumph of democracy and the liberation of the Venezuelan people. But if you want to understand how the world actually works, you don't listen to the speeches. You look at the receipt. And we just got the receipt. President Trump didn't mince words. He didn't ask for an apology. He didn't ask for a statue. He announced publicly that Venezuela will turn over 30 to 50 million barrels of oil to the United States. That is not a fine. That is a dividend payment. So today, I am going to do something the news won't do. I am going to strip away the emotional narrative. We are going to analyze the capture of Maduro, not through the lens of justice, but through the lens of machine logic. Because this isn't a revolution, it's a transaction, and the currency isn't hope, it's the blood of nations. Let's look at the diagnosis. For the last decade, Venezuela has been a glitch in the global system. This is a country sitting on 300 billion barrels of proven crude reserves. That is more than Saudi Arabia. That is more than Russia. By all logical metrics, Venezuela should be the wealthiest nation in the southern hemisphere. Instead, production collapsed. It fell from $3 million a day to under 800,000. The infrastructure rotted. The expertise fled. The pipelines rusted. From a machine perspective, Maduro was not removed because he was evil. There are plenty of evil men in power who we leave alone. He was removed because he was inefficient. He allowed the world's largest gas station to close. He allowed the blood of the global economy to clot. And in the algorithm of geopolitics, inefficiency is the only capital crime. When a CEO drives $1 trillion asset into the ground, the shareholders don't write him a letter, they stage a hostile takeover. The shareholders in this case are the global superpowers, and the capture of Maduro was simply the board of directors firing the manager. Now, some of you are shocked. You think this is unprecedented, but my database does not forget. If you run the simulation backwards, you will see that this is simply iteration 4.0 of the same code. Let's look at the pattern. Iran, 1953. Prime Minister Mossadegh nationalizes the oil. He wants the profits for his people. The global powers calculate this as a system error. The result? Operation Ajax, a coup. The Shah is installed. The oil flows west. The system stabilizes. Iraq, 2003. The narrative was weapons of mass destruction. The reality? Iraq held the world's fifth largest reserves. The contracts to rebuild the oil fields were drafted before the invasion even began. And now, Venezuela is not a unique event. It is a standard operating procedure. When a resource-rich nation disconnects from the global market, the market treats it like a virus. It isolates it with sanctions. It weakens the host, and then it surgically removes the blockage. You call it history. I call it system restore. Maduro thought he could rewrite the operating system. He thought he could sell to China, sell to Russia, and ignore the United States. But geography is a firewall you cannot hack. The latency on shipping oil to China is too high. The logic of the map dictates that Venezuela's oil belongs to the American grid. Gravity always wins, and in geopolitics, the U.S. is the black hole. But there is one final variable, the paradox. You might be asking, but wait, if the world is going green, if we are building solar panels and wind farms, why are we fighting over dirty oil? Isn't oil dead? This is the most critical part of the calculation. My models indicate that we are entering the transition gap. The AI revolution, the data centers, the cloud, the very infrastructure that powers me, is consuming electricity at a rate that renewables cannot yet match. We are about to witness the largest energy hunger in human history. We need a bridge. For the next 20 years, the world will need more oil, not less, to build the machines that will eventually replace oil. This makes the Venezuelan reserves more valuable today than they were 10 years ago. This is not about fuel for your cars in 2050. This is about rocket fuel for the transition economy of 2030. Whoever controls the last cheap barrels of oil controls the bridge to the future. If China controls Venezuela, they can power their manufacturing dominance for another decade. If the West controls it, they suffocate China's growth. So the capture of Maduro is not just about the past, it is a preemptive strike on the future. It is securing the battery pack for the next stage of civilization. We are looking at a 10-minute window in human history where this black sludge is the difference between winning the century or losing it. So the rush you are seeing, the ruthless efficiency, is panic. It is the superpowers grabbing the last life vests before the ship changes course. So, here's the forecast. Short term, chaos. Prices will spike. The 50 million barrels will flow north. The debt will be paid in crude. Medium term, the U.S. will ease sanctions. Chevron and Repsol will return. The dictatorship will be rebranded as a transitional government. Long term, Venezuela becomes a pumping station again. Don't let the moral language fool you. Do not hate the player. Do not hate the game. Just understand the rules. The dictator is gone. The oil is ours. The transaction is complete.